Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about having Capricorn on the third house cusp in a natal chart. Now, the third house in astrology governs communications, siblings, short journeys, early education, neighbors, transportation, and assimilating information. Now, the sign on the cusp can give characteristics to that house and qualities to the manner of communication and other things pertaining to the third house. Now, planets in the third house can flavor the house. The house where the ruler of the third house is posited in can show this sector of life where the third house energy is injected or deposited into. Now, if somebody has planets in the third house, as far as transits go and or progressions, well, these need to be paid attention to very strongly, especially if the person has a vacant or empty third house, because this can often indicate more activity in matters pertaining to the third house. Well, anyway, people, first thing I'll look at, if somebody has Capricorn on the third house cusp, this could be somebody that may be very pragmatic and practical as far as what they communicate in the way, the manner in which they communicate things that are pertaining to business may be talked about. This person may not come across always as being very extroverted. They might be reserved and very cautious about what is said, and really they may focus on, as far as what they talk about, things they feel are very significant, and will often discard anything that might be superfluous, frivolous, or trivial, and the focus often is on things that are really important, and that is what they may concentrate strongly on. And the thing about Capricorn on the third, it can indicate that perhaps in the early education there may have been some difficulties, or they may have felt somewhat restricted or inhibited to some degree as far as what they wanted to learn and the amount that they wanted to learn. Even if they flourished or even got exceptional grades, there might be something where they just felt maybe that they lacked to some degree as far as the early education goes. As far as siblings go, if the person has brothers and or sisters, if applicable, a person that has Capricorn on the third, well, these matters may be handled in a very serious manner, and there might even be kind of like a business-like kind of thing in the way they handle matters connected with brothers and or sisters, and they may be very very serious about these relationships. And we look at also the third house governs transportation, and the person that has Capricorn on the cusp of the third might be somewhat conservative in terms of where they travel, and it could be something where they may I'm not saying they're not going to travel at all, but in their general, they might stay strongly in their general community for the majority of their travels, and it might take a lot for this person to go out and go as far as any long expedition, or I should say not expedition, but any long journey would go. And considering this is the house that governs short journeys, well, they could be conservative as far as that goes, and this person may travel mainly over something where they feel that it's something of strong significance, or to see somebody, like for example, that's a really good close friend, and these journeys may be limited to some degree, and they only may just take their short journeys. Maybe if it's a matter pertaining to business, maybe more emphasized as far as short journeys would go. I had a friend that had Scorpio Rising and likely had Capricorn on the third house cusp, and this person, I thought was interesting that he worked at the same place as his brother did for some time, and we know that the third house rules siblings, and it just kind of it shows me right there, well, Capricorn is connected with business, so it's really was something I'm not really flabbergasted or shocked at as far as that goes. And he had Scorpio Rising, as I stated before, and he seemed to be very cautious as far as what and when he would speak. And this is something where he would maybe talk when it was really, he felt there was something of strong significance to say. I think Capricorn on the third house may be very methodical and systematic as far as assimilating information, and take things as far as learning a slow and steady pace. Now, if somebody was to say have Mercury in a sign of exaltation or dignity, or or accidental dignity, exaltation by house, well, this will obviously modify things. If somebody were to have, I mean, Gemini, Mercury, or Mercury in Virgo, then you have to factor that into consideration. But Capricorn on the cusp of the third by itself may be very methodical and take things, it's kind of like taking the information one step at a time. And we look at also with Capricorn on the third house cusp, we look at the neighbors. And now the neighbors, this person may have maybe limited in terms of the communication with them, or only focus on the neighbors that they really feel factor in importantly perhaps in this person's life. But these any relationship with a neighbor can be very serious, as Capricorn is. And maybe this person may even have, in some isolated cases, may have a business relationship with one or more neighbors, because Capricorn is a sign that is strongly associated with business. So these are things to look at if you have Capricorn on the cusp of your third house in your natal chart. And for the one last thing I want to say as far as Capricorn on the cusp of the third house, well, also this is connected with we look at the, as far as the communication. Again, this is something where the person may really, as far as speaking, really focus on the essentials. And this person may really is not one that really may like idle chatter. I worked with somebody one time that had Scorpio Rising, and I don't remember exactly, but likely she had Capricorn on the third house cusp, and a lot of the conversation seemed like it was very businesslike. And some of those people that have this position, I think, may have a little bit of an authoritative way of communicating, and regardless of the Mercury place. So that's something to look at too, as far as having Capricorn on the third house cusp. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for having Capricorn on the third house cusp in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about having Aquarius on the third house cusp in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.